Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Everyday Icon podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm actually recording my podcast and I'm recording a video for YouTube at the same time. So we're going to see how this works, if I like it, if it's going to be easy for me, and just so you guys can have two places where you can find and listen or watch the podcast. So today I wanted to talk to you and ask you a simple question. Do you have a style vision? Yes, a style vision. It is the end of the year. We're getting ready for 2022, but this goes a little bit further than 2022. This goes further than tomorrow or next month. This is something about a very long-term vision when it comes to your style. So last week I attended two webinars. One was for building your style empire, and the other one was talking about building and creating your mindset and beginning to work on it. And they asked you questions. What's your ideal day like? What time do you get up? What do you do in the morning? What does your house look like? How much money do you have in the bank? What do you wear? What kind of car do you drive? And so on and so on and so on. Then another question they asked, where do you want to be in a year from now? Where do you want to be in 20 years from now? Where do you want to be 30 years from now? And you start to really think. So I decided, let me ask this question with a twist. And that's how I came up with, do you have a style vision? So whenever someone asks these questions, we think of everything else about what we wear and what we look like and what our image looks like and how we feel on the inside. We know that we may want a big team, or we may want a small team, or you may want to be a director of human resources, or you may want to be the top business coach in 3 years, or you may want to retire. We all have these visions, but no one ever touches and talks about, what do you look like? What does your actual image look like? So I want you, as always, to pull out a journal and I want you to jot that down. When you get up in the morning, say a year from now, because I don't want to start and go 20 years, but just say a year from today. What do you look like? What clothes do you wear? What style journey have you gone on? Have you started? What does this look like to you? What are the words that you want to feel when you get dressed in the morning? Do you put your clothes out and prepare for the week? Or do you already have you begin to create a closet that all those clothes are already in your closet and you can just pull them out and mix and match them? What do you look like? Because we forget that our image is also a part of our success. It opens doors. It's what attracts people to us. And we have to begin to incorporate that into our greater and overall vision, because it can help you and position you for success. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, well, where am I supposed to start? Well, you just start with just writing it down. Writing it down as far as all of the Pinterest boards I probably know that you have, all of the pictures that you've seen, all the pictures, screenshots that you have saved in your phone about outfits that you maybe want to recreate, but there's something actually stopping you from creating those images for yourself. I want you to jot them down, and I also want you to write down, why aren't I going and why aren't I working on my style and images? Is it because I'm waiting until I get to a year and I have 50K in the bank? Do I want to wait until I have 150K in the bank because then I can afford what I want to buy? I can afford the clothes that I want? But I'm here to tell you, all that is nice in theory, but you have to begin to work on that now. Because like your business, your style is also going to evolve throughout the vision. So where you are a year from now, it's not necessarily going to be your style 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now. And I also want you to think of that long term as well. 3 years from now, do you want to have a stylist on hand that comes and fits you and buys your clothes for you? If you're going on speaking engagements or if you're going on TV shows, what does that look like? Do you want someone because maybe you're at a point where you don't have time to go shopping? You don't have time to go shopping for clothes either because you don't like it or because you just don't have the time and don't want to because you have to worry about your business and that's where your focus is. And you want to entrust someone to say, here you go through my closet. This is what I need. I need you to go buy X, Y, and Z for me. Is that someone that you want on your team? I really want you to think about that when you're thinking about where you want to be, even 3 years from now, even though I said a year, even 3 years from now, 5 years from now. But let's stay within the 1 to 3 year range, right? Trying to do stuff and things that may help you take that off of your plate. You need someone just as much as we all need business coaches, career coaches. You need an image coach too. You need someone that will help you. And for me, it is helping women who, because I've been in this situation where I had and experimented with different styles, but could never get it right. I stand in the background. I know what I'm talking about, but no one notices me because I really don't stand out. And that's what it is. You have to stand out in a way that people are like, oh, I wonder what she does. And we've all seen this in rooms that we've been in. That's the importance of how we dress. Even when we look at CEOs of companies, whether they're big companies or whether they're small companies, they all have a style about them. Even though if it's conservative, even if it's funky and creative, if it's edgy, they all have a sense of style about them. They all have this image about them. You can look at, say, Steve Jobs. You knew Steve Jobs because he wore a black turtleneck and jeans and tennis shoes all the time. You can even look at, I cannot think of Facebook's founder, but when you look at Facebook's founder, he wears a t-shirt, like a gray t-shirt and jeans all the time. Well, you don't have to go to that extreme. You don't. But you do want people to take notice of you. And somehow your image also correlates with how successful you are. Even if you look at influencers on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, even TikTok now, YouTube, they all have a style about them. Whether it's they like to wear t-shirts with sayings on them, or if they have, hoop earrings. There's something about their style that you take notice of and you can pick up on right away. And they incorporate that. Now, and as they go through their evolutions of their careers and their businesses, guess what? Their style evolves as well. You have to remember that your style, not even your style, so let's take style out of it. Your image is just as important as your business operations. It's just as important as your resume. It's just as important as your sales records, right? It's just as important as your speaking engagements. It's all a part of that because the first thing they look at is you. That's the first thing. That is the first hurdle that you have to get over in order to get to the next step, is your image. So as we're planning for 2022 and beyond, and we'll just say beyond, you always want to take into account and you always want to consider and put in your vision for your style. What does that look like to you? Because our image is personal to us. So what I may be working on in my season is something that you may not be working on in your season. We're probably working on two different things. If you have any problems, and I know it can become daunting, frustrating, confusing, then ask for help. That is what I am here for. That is what all the other image coaches and stylists are here for, to help you. Now, for me, I help professional women who desire to be noticed, and I want to help position them for success. They are the women that feel that my work will get me noticed. That's not always necessarily true. For someone who is confused, has no idea where to begin, has never worked with a stylist or an image consultant or an image coach before, because your style is also, your image is also a mindset shift. I know we get tired of hearing about mindset, right? But it is. It's it's part of your mindset. When you look good, you feel good. And you have to look good on a regular basis when you are presenting yourself. Because guess what? You are your brand. You are always the face of your brand. Even if you have a product, you are still the face of your brand. You have to take the meetings. You have to go out to your, if you do vending events, you are the person out there talking to the clients, talking to your potential customers, talking to them about your product, or talking to them about your product. And guess what? Your product may look pretty, but how do you look? Because we see that, we look at the whole and entire package. So I want you to consider asking for help. It's not a bad thing. And help can be something as simple as listening to my podcast, reading my captions on Instagram, asking questions, listening to my live streams, all of that. And the biggest thing is that it is a service, is how I serve you, is through making you look good. Because I want you to succeed, and no matter what you do, I want you to succeed in getting that job that you want. I want you to succeed at being an entrepreneur. I want you to succeed at being in whatever professional profession you are in. I want you to succeed in that, and your image is a part of that. And I know I used to hear it all the time, that you got to look your best. When you step outside that door, you have to put your best foot forward. When I was younger, it was like, whatever, mom, whatever, I hear you, blah, blah, blah. But it is actually true. So if you are beginning to plan like the rest of us are, I want you to take time, and I want you to write out your style vision for yourself. And do it for the next year to 3 years. What image do you want to have in a year from now? In 3 years from now, do you want somebody doing this for you? Meaning doing your shopping, doing your this and doing your that? Or do you want somebody working with you as you do it? Or do you need somebody just for special occasions or special events? I want you to write all of that down. And then you have to figure out, okay, what are the next steps? Well, the next steps are watching my podcast and watching my YouTube channel. So make sure that you subscribe to both, because you can listen in your car, you can listen while you're doing your chores, or if you're lazy, sitting around like I do, not necessarily watching Netflix, but watching YouTube videos, you can do that too. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode and today's video. If you have any questions, please feel sure, if you're on YouTube, to put them in the comments below. And if you're listening on the podcast, come on over to YouTube as well. Ask them in the comments below, or you can go over to Instagram and you can ask the question under the caption for this particular episode. Ask any questions. Take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys next week in the next video or podcast episode. Bye, guys.